guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is strictly nursing, talking all about it, talking about how to get into nursing school, my experience, my journey a little bit, kind of sharing my down the road with you guys, because I get questions daily all the time about nursing school. How did you get in? You know, what are the differences between things? And a lot of misconceptions, and I want to clear those up today. So I'm going to try and do that as best as I can as I'm sitting here doing nursing school homework. First off, I want to start off and say thank you guys so much for all of your support lately. Sam and I just made our move. Obviously, we're in our new place. I have not shown it yet because I'm not done with stuff. I don't want to show it just because I'm still working on decorating. I haven't painted our dresser. There's a lot of stuff that I still need to do, and we're just trying to get through our semester, and then summer will be DIY. So excited for that. So a house tour is coming, but let's get talking about nursing. So I want to start off the video by clarifying the differences between, you know, definitions, majors, everything that's going on. RN, right here, RN. What is an RN? That is standing for registered nurse, and basically anybody who takes the NCLEX and passes is going to have that behind their name. There's different degrees you can have with that, but basically if you pass the NCLEX, you are a registered nurse. You are a nurse in whatever state you are. That is what the title is. So there is an ADN and BSN. So an associate's degree is going to be only a 2-year program. And a bachelor's degree, which is BSN, which is what I currently am, that is a 4-year degree. So that is the higher degree, and then there's the associates. So the associate's degree is very, very common. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm going to tell you guys why I chose not to do that and what the differences are. So talking about BSN, that is my program. My nursing program is 2.5 years. 2.5. And people always say, how is your nursing program 2.5 years and you have a bachelor's degree? Well, I don't yet. I don't have it till December, but I went to school for 2 years before I started the nursing program. So I have only been in nursing school when I graduate for 2.5 years. That is my program. That is how long my program is. Everybody's programs are different. They're not going to be the same. Some people go for 2 years. Some people go for 15 months if you're an accelerated student. It just depends. But for a bachelor's degree in nursing, you have to take 2 years before you get into the next 2. So here's your nursing, here's your prereqs. In order to get the BSN, prereqs, then you take your nursing classes. So with those prereqs, in my top 10 tips for pre-nursing students, I talk about the different things you want to be aware of and what you should be doing in your prereq time and how hard you should be studying. And I'm kind of going to touch on that today, but if you're interested in that video, that's up here. But basically, you have a higher education with a bachelor's and you don't have as much education as an ADN. Both the same thing. I mean, they're both registered nurses. The reason that I chose a BSN is because 1, higher education, 2, more education, same thing, 3, most hospitals and places want BSN. They want you to have your bachelor's degree. They want you to have that 4 years. They want you to have that experience, and they honestly just want people to have this degree. Why? Well, I mean, you have more education, you are going to have a little bit more exposure to things, and that's just the way that people want things now. And having a bachelor's degree in nursing, there's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with the 2-year. If you were to ask, like, my aunt has a 2-year degree and she's been an OB nurse for 30 years. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you don't have as much education. So I hope that those definitions kind of made sense. That's basically the only difference. There's other terms that I'm sure people use, but basically there's an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and RN. So you're gonna have, so when I graduate, it's gonna say Holley Rojek, RN, BSN, Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. So I have a 4-year degree in nursing because I took the prereqs plus the 2.5 years of school. So I will graduate in 4.5 years. So just to give you guys a little bit of background on my experience with nursing and how I got into what I was doing, to tell you why I wanted to choose nursing, I guess I can kind of start with that. Why did I pick it? I truly love the profession. I honestly never really wanted to be anything else. I feel like it was always the #1 thing that I leaned towards. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that what probably most nursing students will say to you is that they love caring for people. Yeah, that's the obvious. I mean, you should want to care for people. I mean, I hope that everybody wants to care for people, but some people don't want to care to the depth that a nurse does. But some of the main reasons I chose the profession was, you know, I love the feeling of helping somebody during a rough time. I feel like the feeling like the ability to make somebody better or the ability to help somebody through a tough time is just like a feeling that I can't describe to anybody, and I personally love having that privilege of being with those patients, and I truly have a heart for patients who are struggling, and I genuinely loved caring for them, have loved caring, and I know I will continue. I also feel like it's just one of those things that you hold knowledge as a nurse, and I feel like it's such an amazing power to have is knowledge. I feel like knowledge is sexy. I feel like it's sophisticated, and it's just something you can never, like, nothing beats it. Like, you can have all the money in the world, but like having knowledge, I don't know. I feel like knowledge is just something that nobody can take away from you. It's something that you have, and it's something that you know that somebody doesn't, and I feel like it's a very strong thing, and I've always loved that idea of having that in the nursing profession. The possibilities are completely endless. I get this question all the time, you know, what can I do with my degree? I can't even begin to tell you how many things you can do with a nursing degree, especially a bachelor's. You can go so many different ways. You can go up and get your master's, you can get your doctorate, you can do teaching, you can do education, you can do management, you can do anything. You can do in-home care, you can do hospital, you can do nursing home, you can do clinics. It's just you constantly are able to choose something different. You're never stuck in your job ever, which leads me into the next thing, is being able to work literally anywhere in the world. I can move to any city, any state, anywhere and work. Like, it doesn't matter where I want to go. I can go as a nurse. Like, having just that nurse RN BSN behind my name, I'm able to get a career because nurses are needed. That's not me specifically. It's just honestly because there's a nursing shortage. We're always going to need healthcare providers. We're always going to need people to take care of others. That's just something that's never going away. So that was another huge thing for me when I was picking my career was, hey, like, you can get a job anywhere. You can move all over the world if you want to, and you can travel and do this too. So many different things. And then that also leads into the last thing, money. No, money's not everything. I'm chasing for the passion, not the money. The money also is awesome that comes with it. I'm not saying we're going to be rich as nurses, but I mean, you have a steady pay, and it's something that you can always count on. It's, you know, unless you're buying a million cars, but like you're going to have a good job with good pay, and it's going to be something that's going to keep you above ground. And that's why I picked it. I plan to further my career, but those are the reasons I chose this career. Talking about getting into nursing school. So my journey has been, oh my gosh, my journey has been so long, you guys. I feel like I've taken a lot of you on this journey with me. A lot of you have been here since the beginning when I started this channel / Instagram, but I'm just gonna talk through it. So when I was in high school, like, I think that getting into nursing school all kind of starts back in the roots, but I didn't know that, so I'm telling you guys this, and hopefully if you're in this position you can take advantage of it. It all starts in high school, guys. Honestly, I was not aware of this, but it is. I mean, you need to have a good guidance counselor. Talk to your guidance counselor about classes you could be taking that you need for your prereqs. If you plan to get your bachelor's, you could be taking classes right now that would count towards getting into nursing school. And that also comes with starting to look at nursing schools. I mean, this is for people who know, like, in high school, like, this is what I want to do, this is what's happening, and I did know that, but I didn't have a great guidance counselor. So, you know, looking at nursing schools, looking at the classes you need to take is so important. You know, I get people asking me, like, what classes should I be taking? It's like, I'm sorry, but I'm not the person to ask that, because you need to be, like, where are you applying? Like, and that's you need to do the work, not, like, don't ask people that. You need to go to your nursing school website and, you know, look up the classes, talk to an academic advisor, understand what you need to be taking, because that's where it's going to start. It's not going to start by just sitting around wondering what you should be taking. You need to take action and you need to do it. So, starting back in high school, so when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to be a nurse, but I did not know where I wanted to go for sure, because there were a couple options here in Iowa. So I was pretty much social butterfly in high school. You know, I loved being, you know, in control of things, in control of my life. I loved doing things. I loved participating in things, and I thought that the University of Iowa was going to be the perfect fit for me. And they have a nursing school, but I didn't do the early admit that they had. They have an early admit program at that school. Some nursing programs do. Look into it. But I didn't. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go to this school and I'm going to get in when I apply. Well, I got to the school and I took classes that I needed. You know, my program, my academic advisor set me up in a program that was pre-nursing classes, and I was taking everything I needed to. Well, the classes were hard. College kind of hit me in the ass. I really didn't expect it. You know, I went to a high school where I graduated with 52 people. The classes weren't terribly difficult. I mean, I didn't really struggle in high school at all. Had really good grades. Got into college, kind of got shit on. Well, the classes were hard, and I knew that this wasn't working for me. I wasn't happy at the big campus. I wasn't getting what I feel like I needed. So I looked into other options, and that was where I kind of looked at UNI, which is the University of Northern Iowa. Out of the I've been to 2 of the major universities here in Iowa. So I transferred to the University of Northern Iowa because I knew that they had a program that attached to the nursing school I wanted to go to, which is Allen. So I went to UNI and I took more nursing classes, and I had to retake things. I had to change things around. Like, it happens in school and you need to pay attention to that. So I took classes that I needed and I applied and got into Allen. So that's kind of the big moral of the story, but now I'm going to break it down for you guys on things that I did. So when I went to the University of Iowa, I was taking classes for their specific nursing program. If you're a nursing student and you're in school, you know that all schools are different and they all want different things. So sometimes you have to retake things, and it's really fucking annoying. But I went to UNI and I got on their track for their Allen program because they were affiliated and they, you know, had, and that's great. If you can be a part of that, find a school where they're like affiliated with nursing schools and they're able to let you know like what you need to be taking. Talk to your academic advisor. That's awesome. So I was obviously taking my classes for the one school that I was looking at, but I know that people look at multiple nursing schools, so I just want to throw out some of the things that I did take into consideration when I was considering the 2 schools, but I really didn't have many options I was looking at because there isn't really a ton of options here in Iowa for bachelor's programs besides the 2 that I've looked at. So, I mean, there's a few more, but I didn't go to either of the other ones. So So there's a few things you want to look at when you're applying to schools, and I did look at this stuff, but it wasn't like super important to me just because I knew like, hey, this is a school I'm going to go to. You want to look at tuition. You want to look at the NCLEX pass rate. You want to look at location, because do you want to be in a place that's close to your family? Do you want to be far away kind of thing? I didn't, so here. And why I say to look at the tuition is because the tuition is going to be a big factor in your success in nursing school, just because if you're relying on student loans or you're not able to get student loans or you're paying out of pocket, you want to know what you're paying for school because it's very, very expensive to be a nurse apparently. So looking at tuition is important. Just make sure that you're on the same page as your parents, as your academic advisor, as your financial aid advisor, all of that. Make sure you're on the same page because you don't want to be in your ass in loans because you didn't know what you were paying for school. Like, make sure you're aware of it. NCLEX pass rate, because you don't want to go to a school that has a 60 to 70, 80% pass rate. You want your NCLEX pass rate to be 95 and up. Oh, okay, I think some are different, but my school's NCLEX pass rate is very, very high. I can't tell you what it is exactly, but I know last semester everybody passed, 100% pass rate. Hell yeah, I wanted to go to that school. Like, that's why I picked my school. NCLEX pass rate is everything, which means their training, their education, the amount of knowledge they're going to shove into your brain in 2.5 years is going to make you pass the NCLEX. And that's the goal here, people. It's not about what you get in OB in the second exam, question number 27. It's about passing the NCLEX. That's all it's about. So I picked my school for those reasons, and I suggest that you look into those for when you're looking for a school. So when it came to actually applying to my college, there were several factors that came into it, and I will go through them just here like briefly. Obviously you need to send your transcripts, so I was a little nugget and went to about 5 different schools, it seems like, really only 2, and then you include high school, and then I took some college classes, so I had 4 transcripts to send. So that's a part of applying. You got to send all your transcripts. But if you didn't look at, like, you should already have done this. I mean, I'm assuming you guys did this, is, you know, made sure that you were on the track to apply. Like, don't just get the application and apply if you aren't going to meet all of the standards for the semester you're applying for. You know, every nursing school website has a section that says the classes that you need to have to get into this program, that program, whatever. And it also says things like, which classes transfer over. So like I went to the University of Iowa, University of Northern Iowa, and Kirkwood, so I had to look and see if any of my classes were gonna meet the criteria so that I didn't have to retake them, because I did have to retake a couple. One I failed, so I had to retake that. But you want to make sure that your classes are going to transfer so that you're not going to get screwed when you're applying and be super upset and get, you know, keep paying money for not getting an education. So your transcripts are important. And then another factor that I had to do, you're going to either have to take the TEAS or the HESI. These are entrance exams. I do not have any experience with the HESI. I have experience with the TEAS. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the TEAS. I was a dumbass and didn't study for it at all. Didn't score too high, and it wasn't the greatest thing ever. But the good news is my school didn't care about what score you got. You just had to take the test. But when I talk to other people who are like in class with me, like, yeah, I studied for it, and I'm just back here like, yo, girl did not. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't study for it. But there are books to study for that, so I recommend doing that. Study for the TEAS. So that's an entrance exam. So we got our transcripts, we got our entrance exams, and now we're going to talk about GPA. So my school had an overall GPA that you had to meet. That didn't mean if you didn't meet it, you weren't going to get in, but they had like a baseline. Like, here's the standard. You want to be above it, not below it. So I did meet the above it. That was, yeah, I don't even remember what the accumulative was. If you want to creep my school, you can, but you have to meet an accumulative GPA, like minimum, and then they have a science one, which is basically a C+ and up. You can't have a C- or anything like that. It had to be a C or a C. I think it's above a C. That's like your science classes. That's like your anatomy, your physics, bio, all that crap had to be high, because hello, that's what nursing is. So the next part of the application process was the actual application, which was filling out all of your stuff, including essay questions and references. So those are the last two things that I wanted to include. So my essay questions, take your time on those. I wrote them, had 17 different people read them, because I was so nervous that that was going to be a factor, because I'm like, there's going to be someone who's 12 times better than me at this, then it's all going to depend on my essay question. And I genuinely feel like the essay questions are a hit or a miss for schools when they're choosing applicants. Like, if that person has a rockin' 4.0 GPA and they did this and that, and that's great and everything, but are their essay questions shit? That's part of it. Like, you need to have both parts. And if you don't have the grades, maybe your grades are mediocre. That was mine back then. I mean, now they're good, but back then I had just like not fantastic. I mean, my grades weren't 4.0 by any means. I think my GPA was like 3.3 or 4. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't like high. So I was like, I need to make these essay questions badass, and I need to have a good reference, and I did. It was my high school principal. Shout out to you. You were a part of me getting into nursing school. So making sure that you have those things in check, making sure that you take the time to actually do those things is super important. Alright guys, I think that that's kind of all the basics that I wanted to talk about. I know that maybe that helped someone, maybe it didn't, maybe you've heard this information a million times, but I genuinely feel like some people don't know or understand the process, and I want to make sure that anybody who feels like they want to be a nurse, you can get your ass going and do it, because we need you. We need nurses, we need healthcare people, we need anybody and everybody who wants to help other people. If you want to be a nurse, you can be a nurse. I don't understand people who hold back from doing things. I understand like life aspects, I get it, like money, stuff like that, I totally get that, but people who genuinely have the ability to go to school and be a nurse and just are holding back because they feel like they aren't smart enough or they feel like they aren't good enough, I'm here to tell you that you're listening to a girl who has been to 4 different colleges, has struggled on and off and on and off and on and off, and had my faith shaken and had so many different things happen, and I am now going to graduate in December with my bachelor's degree, and I can tell you that every single freaking second has been worth it. And I'm telling you that if I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. You have to have determination, you have to want it, and if you have the drive to stick with it and push yourself and challenge yourself and fight through the hard times, because nursing school is not even a little tiny eensy bit easy, I can't even tell you the feeling that you will have, the confidence that you will have, how happy you will be with your life if you chase something that you're passionate about. If you have the passion, drive, dedication, determination, you can do this. You got it. Apply to nursing school. I promise you it's worth every single tear, sweat, dollar bill. That's all I got for that, because it's true. But Anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Make sure that you are sticking around for more videos, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.